What up, YouTube? It's your girl DeeDee. Welcome back to the channel. Thank y'all so much for tuning in once again. So I'm back with a little quick reaction for you guys. I thought what this woman said in this video was important to share because it sheds so much light on the idea that a lot of women think that they don't need men, their children don't need men. But then this is the very things that they complain about in the aftermath of not having fathers in the household. So I want to play what she had to say, and I definitely want to get y'all thoughts on it. So make sure you chime in the comments below. I want to hear what you have to say. Shout out to the angry man because he actually posted this short. I want to play what she had to say and listen to what he had to say. Then I'll give my 2 cents on it. So make sure you are subscribed to the channel, share and like the video, and hit that notification bell to be notified when I upload new content. Let's get into it. Here we go.
75% of this generation of men don't even know how to change a tire. Can't even change the oil. Can't even freaking lay tile down. Can't even paint a simple ass wall.
Oh, really? Check this out. Let me ask you a question. Do you remember the 80s? I distinctly remember in the 80s a group of people saying they did not need fathers to help them raise their children. Now, who could have possibly said that? I mean, you would think y'all would be able to teach the boys that, given the fact that you're strong and independent, but you didn't. And as it turns out, you did need fathers to raise those boys. But it's typical. Y'all have always fought for the right to create a problem, only to circle back and complain about the results of the problem you created.
Exactly. No lies detected. That's exactly what it is. It's like you create these problems in the name of I'm independent. You know, I'm a strong black woman. I can do what I want to do. Can't nobody tell me anything. But then when you're faced with the consequences of said issues, then you want to blame somebody else. So if you have a group of women who claim they don't need a man, that their children don't need fathers, and you know they can raise these children by themselves, this is the outcome of doing that. But they want to constantly blame the men. Oh, the men wasn't in the households. Well, y'all didn't choose to have a man in the household to marry and raise your kids. You were told to go out, have your fun in your 20s. You don't need a man. You don't depend on a man. Go out and you go to college and you take care of yourself. And then eventually when you're ready for a man, you can go step out and get one, and you'll get one who will come in and be stepfathers to the broken homes that you've already created. But at the same time, when you weren't able to get a man who was willing to come in and play stepdaddy for you and your kids, then you're left holding the bag to raise those children by yourselves, your sons and your daughters. So if you chose to be this independent woman and raise a child by yourself, you didn't. And when I say you chose that, because you didn't choose marriage, you didn't prioritize marriage. A lot of women were not taught that that was important, that you needed to do that. For the women who were taught to be these independent boss chicks, that meant you were independently by yourself. You were focused on your careers and living and creating life by yourself, because you weren't taught to not have sex and to abstain, to hold yourself until marriage. Because remember, for a lot of these women, marriage was not the goal. The goal was to be this independent woman who don't need a man, but you still gonna casually sleep with them. Hence, that's why y'all end up with children by yourselves, because you didn't believe in marriage, you didn't prioritize it, but you were having your so-called fun, which means you were out sleeping around, and then you ended up pregnant. So now you are a statistic. Now you are a single mother raising the child by yourself, and you realize the difficulties of that. So then you're still out here looking for a man who's going to come in and help you raise your child. But when you didn't get that, all of the responsibility was on you to raise the child. So if you didn't teach your child how to lay tile, how to build stuff, how to change a tire, then that is your responsibility, because you chose and thought it was the best option to be this independent boss chick who don't need a man, not realizing that your children that you're bringing into this world need fathers just as much as they need mothers. So when you don't have that balance, then this is why you get a group of men who may not have been privy or taught to do those things because the fathers weren't in the home, because you didn't choose or prioritize it, because you didn't think that your children needed it. And matter of fact, a lot of these women did not even think about the children. It was a selfish move. It was something you didn't think that you needed, but you didn't even consider the children that you were bringing into this world. So a lot of women chose to have babies with men that were fun and good, sexually, and that was the only thing that mattered. But then when the child came, you chose to keep the child and raise the child because you were told that you could, not even considering how this is going to fare out for the child, whether this child needed a father, how important it was to have two parents in the household. This is something that a lot of women didn't think about because they were told not to depend on a man, that you don't really need one. You can do this all by yourself. Fast forward once again, now you're complaining about men don't know how to change tires because you didn't decide to prioritize a father for your child to teach him those things. Nor do most women know how to do these things. Y'all are independent, but you don't know how to do any of this, so you didn't teach him how to do it. You don't know how to do it. And now you're blaming all men because you're a generation of sons who were raised by only mothers don't know how to do this because they weren't taught by the fathers or the mothers. So you have to take some accountability. This is where accountability is important and why all of the blame shouldn't be placed on either side. You can't completely just blame all men for your lack of choices and not thinking about the consequences of your choices. To this day, you still have women out here saying that they don't need their children don't need a father, that they don't need a man for their children, that they can raise their sons and their daughters completely fine because they have the finances to do so. Not understanding to this day that finances is not the only thing that's needed to raise a child. That you have to have the balance of a mother and a father to give these kids the best outcome. But there are women to this day who are still saying their children don't need a father and they could raise them by themselves and they could, be the mother and the father. Like they still think this way to this day. So it's insane that you still have women out here complaining about what men can't do, when y'all chose to become these independent boss chicks, independent women who don't need a man, thinking that you could raise your child and that was a flex and that there wouldn't be a deficit when it came to what your children needed. This is why I say it's a selfish act. A lot of women act out of their own selfish emotions. They're not even considering the kids. They're not worried about how this is going to affect their children and what that's going to look like until it happens. And then you still don't take any accountability. You're still trying to blame everybody else except for your choices. It's interesting to see. This is why you have people saying that these modern women complain about the very men that they raise. Y'all are y'all are at the forefront of raising these kids because you say the fathers aren't there, but you're raising them. But what are you teaching them? Because it seems like you're there, you're at the forefront, you're the only one there, but what are you teaching them? You can't constantly blame a person who's not there. You can say, oh, they walked away or whatever your complaint is, but if you're there, what are you doing? What are you instilling in your kids? Because it's unacceptable to constantly blame somebody who is not there. And on top of that, especially when you didn't choose to have a father there for your child, because it is a choice. As much as a lot of women want to say, oh, they wasn't the choice. Yes, it is a choice, because when you're just going around having your so-called fun and just sleeping with random dudes who you don't require commitment from, what you get out of that is what you get out of it. You get a baby and that's it. You don't get commitment. You don't get a relationship because that's not what you prioritize. So you can't then later on complain, oh, the fathers didn't step up. No, you didn't put yourself in a position for that to be the priority. You can't go out here and just do whatever and then think that, you shouldn't be held accountable, that your actions and your choices, has no reflection on you, that is always somebody else's fault. No. So while there may be some situations where some of the fathers walked out, that is not necessarily the situation for every single mother out here, and they know it. You have women who literally have stated that they were just out here looking for the D. That's all you wanted. That's all you care about. But then when you get the baby, now all of a sudden he got to step up and be responsible when you weren't responsible. You can't have two people who are irresponsible in their choices make these decisions, and then when the outcome happens, only one person is held accountable. No, you have to be accountable for your choices, because if not, you keep repeating them, and that's what we see over and over and over again. So yeah, you can't complain about the outcomes if you don't prioritize the right way. If you don't require marriage and a man who wants to be a father and wants to be committed and married to you and then create a family and do it the right way, you can't complain about the outcomes of these children when you're not teaching them and giving them the best outcome that they should have, or giving them the best options in life based on your choices. If you choose to do things the wrong way, you can't then turn around and complain that there are deficits, that you are missing something, or that your kids are missing something because you didn't teach it to them, and you didn't prioritize a father to be able to teach them what they need to know as a young man. So yeah, I just think once again, women complain about the men they create. And once again, there's never any accountability on their parts. But at the end of the day, it's not benefiting you or your kids. It's not helping any of you. So it would make sense to try to do better and start learning better so that you can teach your daughters differently, and so that you can teach them what to look for in a man so that they won't repeat the cycle, so that they can do something differently and create something better as opposed to following in your footsteps when you know that wasn't beneficial to you or your kids. So listen, I'm gonna leave it here. Y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments below of this. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Comment, like, subscribe. Don't forget to turn on that bell to be notified when I upload new content. Chime in. I want to hear your thoughts on this one, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye.